So, what does it really take to build a legacy? Not just for yourself, but for generations to come. Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the Chapter Games 2026. This is the official race to be crowned GLOAT. That's the greatest line of all time. And let me tell you, this is way more than just a competition. It's a year-long mission. So how's it all going to work? Let's dive in and break it down.
All right, here's the game plan for the next few minutes. We're going to cover 5 key areas. First, we'll talk about the why behind it all, this race for legacy. Then we'll look at the entire year-long journey. After that, we'll get into the strategy, how you actually win. Then we'll cover how they keep it fair for everybody. And finally, we'll talk about the grand finale, the homecoming crown. So let's start with the most important question, right? Why do these games even exist? Because this is about so much more than a trophy or just bragging rights. It's really about cementing a legacy. Legacy meets leadership. This is the official theme for 2026, and honestly, it just nails the whole spirit of the games. Think of it as a call to action. You're honoring the past while you are actively building the future. That one phrase turns this from just a contest into a real shared purpose. And here's where you see that purpose in action. The chapter games are basically a living system, and it's all designed to fuel Project Uplift's core mission. Every single point you score, every challenge you complete, it literally translates into scholarships and mentorship. This is competition with a conscience, for sure. Okay, so we know the why. Now, how does this whole year-long mission actually play out? Because this isn't some one-weekend event. It's a marathon, and it has a really clear intentional rhythm to it. Welcome to the season of Lift. The entire year is laid out for you in 5 phases. It all kicks off with reconnection, then it moves to education with the knowledge challenge, then you've got community impact, then fundraising, and it all wraps up with a huge celebration at homecoming. See? This structure turns the whole thing into a story that everyone can follow along with. Okay, now for the part I know you've all been waiting for. How do you actually win this thing? Let's get into the weeds and break down the challenges and the scoring system. This chart right here, this is your strategic roadmap. Pay close attention to where the points are. The line drive, that's fundraising, and SSM, community impact. Look at that. Together, they make up over half of the total score. That tells you that while every single phase matters, the games really value generating resources and showing real-world service. The games kick off with a really powerful idea. It's not about jumping straight into a rivalry. No. It's about strengthening the bonds that tie everyone together in the first place. And that idea, connect before you compete, is put right into practice with the Call a Brother Challenge. It's worth a solid 15% of your score. And the goal here is real connection. We're talking a live 5-minute conversation. And listen up, because texts and DMs, they don't count. They even give out bonus points for reaching across the decades and across the map, which really strengthens that intergenerational bond. Next up, you've got the Knowledge Challenge, making up 20% of the total score. And this is not just random trivia, okay? It's about reconnecting everyone with that shared history, that shared legacy of the institutions that shaped them. It really proves that our story is our strategy. Okay, now for the SSM Challenge, a huge piece of the puzzle at 25%. This is where you put your values into action. You can earn points in 3 different ways: through documented community service projects, through creative performances like song or step that honor tradition, and through verified mentorship sessions. It's all about showing what Uplift actually looks like in the real world. And here it is, the heaviest hitter of them all, the line drive, worth a whopping 30%. This is the engine that fuels the entire mission. Every single dollar raised goes directly to support the scholarships and programs that are the heart and soul of Project Uplift. This is where your participation literally becomes legacy. So that leaves just one final piece, the culmination of a whole year of hard work, homecoming. It accounts for that last crucial 10% of your total score. So yeah, showing up and being a part of it matters, right down to the very end. Now, with any great competition, you gotta have integrity, right? So you might be wondering, how do the chapter games make sure there's a level playing field for every single person involved? The answer is something called fair play scoring. This is the core idea that makes sure everything's on the up and up. It's designed so that a line's success is all about their collective effort and participation. In other words, a smaller line that's super engaged can absolutely go toe-to-toe with a much larger one. It's about your participation rate, not just the raw numbers. So what does fair play scoring look like in practice? Well, first, like we said, Scores are balanced by participation. But there's also this really cool thing called the Legacy Lift bonus. It awards points for honoring deceased brothers or for mentoring current undergrads. How great is that? They're literally building legacy right into the scoring system. And of course, everything is tracked transparently so everyone can see it.
And hey, what happens if there's a tie? Don't worry, there's a crystal clear plan for that. First, they look at the highest weighted category, the line drive score. If it's still a tie, they move down the list to SSM, then knowledge, and so on. The absolute final decider, the overall participation rate. It's a clear, logical system, so there's no room for guessing. So after a whole year of connection, of competition, and contribution, it all comes down to one single moment. You're going to want to mark your calendars for this one. The winner, the official greatest line of all time, will be announced live during the homecoming celebration in October 2026. And it's all happening under the Sheltering Our Legacy tent. I mean, what a perfect place for the end of this journey. And this quote really brings it all home. The race for GLOAT, with all its different phases and points, it's really just a vehicle. It's a creative, super engaging way to get everyone to recommit to that shared mission of brotherhood, service, and uplift.
So we've broken it all down: the mission, the challenges, the path to victory. Now there's really only one question left to ask. Is your line ready to step up, build your legacy, and become the greatest line of all time?